Welcome to my first blind FireRed Nuzlocke. If you don't know what a Nuzlocke is, the rules are simple. You can only catch one Pokemon per route. If a Pokemon dies, you can't use it for the rest of the run. And all the Pokemon that you do catch, you need to name. With the rules out of the way, let's see how I did for my first ever blind Nuzlocke. Starting things off, I went to Professor Oak's lab to choose my first Pokemon. I decided to go with Squirtle and name him Franklin before his annoying ass grandson Gary stopped me for a fight. After beating Gary, I went to the grass for my first encounter. I caught a rat and named it Florida Man. Caught a Caterpie, named it Marine. Got to Viridian Forest, caught a Weedle and named it Buzz. Got Marlene to Metapod, then Butterfree. And got Buzz to Kakuna. Got to the Rock Gym, swept all of Brock's Pokemon, and got my first badge. Before getting into Mount Moon and then the second gym, I decided to train up the party. Got Franklin to Wartortle and accidentally killed Buzz. Fought my way through Mount Moon. And collected a fossil I'll be using later. Before going to the next gym, I evolved Florida Man into Eradicate and a Pidgey I caught on Route 4 into Pidgeotto. I didn't know what to do for the water gym, but I saw that Wartortle learned Bite at level 19, so I just spammed Bite the entire time. And with that, I beat the water gym and got my second badge. Before going to the next area, Gary stopped me once again to fight, and I beat his entire team without losing anyone. During the next route, I caught an Oddish, named it Radish, and went over to Diglett Cave, caught a Diglett, and named it Freckles. After beating every single trainer on that ship, including Gary, again, I was able to get an item to let me go to the next gym. While fighting the electric gym, I got Freckles and Radish to both evolve. Then, I fought the electric gym leader, swept his entire team with Freckles, and got my third gym badge. On our way to Lavender Town, we caught a Voltorb and named it Volt, and went to Rock Tunnel, caught him a Chop, and named him Bruce Knee. After finally getting to Lavender Town, I went straight to the Pokemon Cemetery so I could get my Ghastly encounter, but sadly found Gary there. Everything was going normal just like before, but then he brought out Gyarados. One Thrash had already brought my Pokemon close to death, and another one would kill it instantly, so I switched out. My plan was to sub him with Radish, use Sleep Powder and then Absorb, but before I could do that, his Gyarados got a crit and instantly killed Radish. After Radish's death, I sent in Marlene to use Sleep Powder and Confusion and finally brought down the Gyarados. We finally took out the remainder of Gary's team and won the entire fight. After the Pokemon Tower, I made my way to Celadon City and fought the Grass Gym. Swept the entirety of the gym with Moro and got my fourth badge. After making my way to Celadon Apartments, I found an Eevee and decided not to name it yet until I found out what type I wanted it to be. Made my way to the Fighting Dojo to pick up a few more levels before heading to the next area. Before proceeding to the next area, I had to take out Team Rocket's leader, so I went down to his secret base, beat all of his henchmen, and met the man himself. Right off the bat, I sent out Franklin, which took out his Onix and his Rhyhorn, but then he sent out Kangaskong. Any attack I threw at him did little to no damage, so I decided to switch out Franklin and put in Marlene to put him to sleep. After every single Sleep Powder, Kangaskong would wake up instantly, so I decided to use Poison Powder and spam Confusion. But at the end, Kangaskhan survived one more tick from poison and bypassed his confusion to hit me with one Mach Punch, which instantly killed Marlene. Even though one Pokemon was dead, another got to evolve, and I got to see Franklin finally turn into Blastoise. I killed Volt. I found a Thunderstone, turned Eevee into Jolteon, and named him Static. Before fighting the Psychic Gym, I would have to beat Team Rocket's leader once again, so I went into Silphco trying to find him. It took an hour fighting Team Rocket goons, solving puzzles, and fighting Gary again just to get to him. At the end of fighting Barry, I was gifted a Lapras and called him Milo, before heading off to fight Giovanni. After beating Giovanni and getting my Master Ball, I was finally ready to take on the Psychic Gym. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, cause all I did was use Bite. After getting to the Psychic Gym Leader, I led him with Blastoise and took out Kadabra, Mr. Mime, and Venomoth. Right after that, Alakazam showed up and stacked up Calm Mind twice. With one Psychic, he'd already brought my Blastoise to 10 HP. After both of our Pokemon healed up to full, Alakazam hit me with another Psychic which critted, killing Blastoise. No other Pokemon I had on me could really take any hit from Alakazam, so I sent out Freckles to use Dig non-stop and hoped it worked. At the end, Freckles got Alakazam to red health, but ultimately died because of it. At the end, I sent out Static to finish the job, and finally got my Psychic Gym badge. On my way to the Poison Gym, I caught a Venonat and started training up the entire party. Florida Man died. I evolved Venonat to Venomoth and took on the Poison Gym. Got to the gym leader and totally wiped his entire team with Venomoth, giving me my Poison badge. On my way to the Fire Gym, I revived the fossil that I found at Mount Moon and got myself Turbo. After getting Turbo to Omastar, I headed toward the Fire Gym. Found the gym leader, spammed Surf over and over again, and eventually got my Fire badge. After getting the 7th badge, I went to some random ass island, killed some random ass legendary, and finally found my way to the 8th gym. To the last gym, killed everything in sight, and got my last gym badge. Before heading to the Elite Four, I caught a Ponyta, named it Artex, and evolved it to a Rapidash. Before I could go any further, I found Gary again, beat his ass for the 7th time, and moved on to Victory Road. I fought my way through Victory Road and prepared myself for the last fights of the Nuzlocke. The first Elite Four fight was Lorelei, who led in with only Ice Pokemon. First, I sent out Static to take out her Dugong, Cloyster, Slowbro, and Lapras. When she sent out Jinx, I switched out Static, put in Artex, tanked an Ice Punch, and killed her with Fire Blast. The next Elite Four member was Bruno, who only used Fighting-type Pokemon. First, I sent out Milo to take out his Onix. Then I sent out Marrow to take out his Hitmonchan and Machop. Then sent out Quakers to take on Hitmonlee. The next Elite Four member was Agatha, who mostly used Poison-type Pokemon. I sent out Quaker to take out the Gengar, but was sadly taken out by Golbat, who used the Air Cutter and got a crit. Then sent out Static to deal with the Golbat and finish off the Arbok. I sent out Turbo to deal with the Gengar, but had to switch him out from Haunter because he almost died from poison. After that, I switched out Milo to finish off the Haunter, ending the entire fight. And last but not least, I fought the last Elite Four member, Lance, who uses mostly Dragon-type Pokemon. First, I switched into Static to take out his Gyarados, and then switched into Milo to take out his Dragonair, Aerodactyl, other Dragonair, and finally to take out Dragonite. Before I could be crowned champion, I had one more man to fight, and that would be Gary. Again. First, I sent out Sparks to take care of his Pidgeot. Then switched out Static for Milo to take care of his Rhydon. And then Milo took care of his Venusaur and Alakazam. Then I switched in with Static and took care of his Gyarados, and switched out with Turbo to take care of his Arcanine. And with that, this is how I beat my first ever FireRed blind Nuzlocke.